All right, let's get to work, yeah?
We think that Homelander is looking for the V1.
It's Vought's first iteration of Compound V. If Homelander got his hands on some, he'd be immortal.
Given that they've been able to just get away with so much, was there anything this season that you just couldn't believe was on the page and that was actually going to be filmed?
Oh man, at this point,
I know
the
it's
bar,
right.
It's just like it's so hard to make us go, whoa, that's a bit nuts.
Yeah. There are many moments, there are always moments that make me go like, really, are we really going to do that? But it being the final season, I've said this before, like the final season is our darkest season, is the most emotional season for justified and obvious reasons. We've earned it. It's not arbitrary. It's really heartbreaking. And it's the most heartbreaking season that we've had yet. And Kirky has said no one is safe, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different flavor of like, how are we going to do that? You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my God, that's crazy. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the difference.
You're right. The reaction was more like, oh wait, the show's almost over.
This is like, yeah.
This is a big part of that. This moment's a big part of that.
So, yes,
Oof.
a different flavor of it.
True.
Which is kind of cool.
You know, Val was talking about this earlier. Surprise people. This audience is so smart, and the writers are also so smart. And so you've got this great balance of the writers always trying to stay ahead of this audience. So we want to surprise people. as
Yeah,
soon as we can.
events and the audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I hope, and there's so many opportunities, so many possibilities to do that because there's so many characters and so many stories being told, that I do hope that the audience feels like it comes to a gratifying ending that they didn't expect.
You know, writing a finale to a show that goes this long is super hard, and I just got to give it up to the writers and Eric
Yeah.
for landing the plane. At least
Yeah.
in my view, I think
Yeah.
they did an amazing job.
Totally.
Going into the final season, given everything that you've gotten to do, the character arcs, the explosions, the body parts, everything, what was the one thing going into this final season that you're like, God, I hope we get to do this, or I really hope this happens to this character?
I just really wanted to see one last time a penis wrap around Laz's neck. Just one last time.
Why would you want to see that? Why? That's all I want to know is why.
This is why.
Right, because you've worked on The Boys too long.
Right.
I was looking forward to doing scenes again that reminded me of seasons 1 and 2, where the whole team is back together. You know, those days are typically longer, of course, because there's more coverage and everybody's got a line. But there is a little bit of nostalgia at going out the way we came in. You know, the Spice Girls, you know, working together as a team again.
Yeah, it really feels like peak Boys this season, just having the gang back together in the way that we did in seasons 1 and 2. And every week, not only, you know, coming up with a new way to take down Homelander, but also taking down other soups along the way. And to me, you know, that's The Boys at its best.
Yeah.
This is a little dull, but you know what I wanted? I want more of the same. I think there's a tendency to try and, you know, you think you gotta hit it out of the park,
Ramp it up.
because of other people's ideas. And all I wanted was us to finish with the integrity of the show, the story, the characters intact, and I wanted us to stay in our lane and just do what we've been doing, not trying to please, because you can't please everyone, the old saying, right? Some of the people, some of the time. And we know our lane. If we stick to our lane, we'll land the plane somewhere good. I don't know exactly where that is, but it'll be in a nice spot. And you know, knock on wood, I do believe that we've done that, which is a testament to the writers, because they did a great job, in my opinion. And you know, you don't want to. I'm cautiously optimistic that the fans will appreciate what's happened.
Yeah, you don't want to change the
No.
playbook in the fourth quarter when you're up by 30 points.
Yeah.
You want to
Right.
stick to the game plan.
I was hoping to see A-Train confront what he's been running from. You know, I was hoping that he was able to have like some moments of honesty. You know, I feel like even in the previous seasons when we heard him be honest, it was like half truthful. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where it's like, well, I didn't lie. It's like, yeah, but you didn't tell the full truth either. And I feel like A-Train had always sort of been and playing in that gray area. And, going into season 5, I'm like, if never else, like now he's not hiding from anything. You know what I mean? He's being honest with himself. So I was just hoping that I would be able to say what I feel and what I think in that, in those moments with that character. So I was very happy with, the direction that it started to go.
Yeah. With Kimiko, at the beginning of season 5, I had a meeting with Kripke and to talk about the, arc of the character throughout the season and leading up to the final episode. And he said that Kimiko and Huey are some of the characters that are holding on to hope. And a lot of the other characters are starting to lose that glimmer of hope that we can actually make it to the end. And so I kept that in mind, playing that throughout each episode, even in the most dire situations, always having that glimmer of hope and not cheering on. It's on the boys' side, it's more gritty, but having that sort of belief that it can be done, the underdog can come up on top.
As it heads towards a finale, this battle royale, for me, a final season should be a bloodbath. Like, all bets are off, anyone can go. But is there any line that you feel these characters would never cross?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that sort of is basically the existential question that this show asks. Is like, how far are you willing to go to save your world? How far are you willing to go to save the ones you love? Are you willing to sacrifice yourself? Are you willing to commit genocide? Are you like, those are the sort of questions that that the show asks along the way.
Yeah. And I think that there was a time when there were boundaries and there were lines that he wouldn't cross. But I think this season, those boundaries are long gone now.
And both these characters have family ties in the show. How grim would you say it gets?
Listen, I mean, we're at a point in season 5 where it is at its most desperate. There's no doubt about it. There's no sugarcoating it. I mean, Homelander is turning himself into ostensibly a god. He will be immortal. He will be impossible to defeat. And so the stakes couldn't be more raised. And, really the only thing that's there to stop him are this sort of ragtag group of vigilantes. And, who some of which were just desperately trying to hold on to the last shreds of their humanity.
Were there any characters that you guys were hoping to tangle with one last time? Like specific villains?
I mean, definitely for me, of course, I wanted to see a closure to the Love Sausage 4-season arc. From season 2, when he first met my neck, to season 3, when I get doused in love juice. And, it's just like this guy now, all of a sudden, originally it was supposed to be, Soldier Boy, who was my arch nemesis. And then Eric decides how funny this character is, and now I can't get rid of this guy. So, yeah, I was looking forward to finally finding some kind of closure with this guy.
Yeah. What about Butcher? Because I mean, he's always up against Homelander, but were there any other characters that he just really wants to stick it to?
It's probably like the comics. There was so many characters in the graphic novels that Butcher dispensed with along the way, and just by virtue of the fact that we're condensing this into a TV series, there would a multitude of soups that that Butcher destroys in the comics. But I got to say that I think the audience will be well and truly satisfied with the fate that is meted out to all of the characters, both positive and negative, in the show. Season 5 is a hell of a ride. It is the most spectacular, action-packed, heartfelt, tragic, probably emotional season yet. And buckle up.
Jensen, what having shaken up this world already, what does Soldier Boy do when he comes back this time? Because as we're heading into like the battle royale, we don't know how to trust this guy.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that at the end of season 3, where he thought he was there with his backup team, Butcher's team, and he was going to take out Homelander, and that would be it. Obviously, it all went to so I'm not sure he knows who to trust. Obviously, we saw in the teaser that this one wakes him up.
I love that he says this one.
Well,
Like I'm some kind of fish. This one.
but a beautiful fish, a glorious fish.
Can I be? Yeah.
What kind of fish would you be?
A scorpion fish.
A scorpion. I'm sorry.
Have you seen those suckers? They're beautiful.
So back onto we
Sorry,
only have
guys.
a little bit of time. It's Damien.
I'm sorry, Damien.
All right. So I feel like obviously he's got a lot of questions when he wakes. He doesn't know who to trust. He doesn't know where he fits into this whole grand scheme of things and why he got called back. But I personally, Jensen, being a fan of the show, was very happy that Eric decided to bring Soldier Boy back.
Yeah.
And it was and I think audiences will be pleased with how that kind of unfolds itself.
Yeah.
Is there, especially because we got the father-son situation here, and like we've seen, patricide all the time, and is there anyone these two wouldn't consider killing?
I would like to say everyone's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's a very large chopping block.
Right. It really is.